The views and opinions expressed on the Middle Class VO podcast are solely those of the hosts and guests. Any feelings hurt therein are an unfortunate byproduct of the quest for infotainment. Also, please be reminded that concerted efforts have been made so as not to put anyone's knickers in a twist. Having one's knickers in a twist is not an objective or goal. However, if your knickers are in a twist and it persists for more than 4 hours, please seek out a physician. Moreover, if anyone were to feel besmirched by any of the commentary on the Middle Class VO podcast, it would be purely coincidental. No besmirchment is intended. Please enjoy.
Coming up on the Middle Class VO podcast.
When somebody asks the question, am I ready for a demo? You're actually asking the wrong question. Because the point of a demo is to get you a good agent. And I can make you sound good. I can certainly give you enough line reads. You know, some of my competitors, they can make you sound good. That's not really the challenge. Think about how to make your reads pop. The only way to make your reads pop is if you know what you're doing with every word and every phrase and every sentence. Make that your priority.
If you need e-learning, we're just an email away. Corporate narration, tell us what to say. Explainer video, imaging radio, slinging local cars, reading IVR. No, we ain't no stars. This is the Middle Class VO podcast. The Middle Class VO podcast. The Middle Class VO podcast.
We are excited to have senior promo producer for network TV, voiceover coach extraordinaire, and demo producer, Harry Dunn, joining us on the Middle Class VO podcast. Hey, Harry.
Well, what's going on, guys?
Everything is going on. Bobby and I were chatting earlier this week, and we were talking about, fall sweeps are coming. It's going to be promo season, and Bobby said, Kev, let's get Harry Dunn on. You doing okay, Harry?
Everything is great. We are getting all set for the upcoming fall season, and I'm enjoying listening to all the voiceovers out there. We got a lot of talented people in this business, and I wish nothing but the best for those out there trying to crack this little nugget here known as Promo VO.
Harry, tell us about your background. How did you get started in this whole genre?
Well, it all began after I graduated from USC. One of my first jobs was I started my career in the trailer industry, and I used to work for this company called Canon Films, and Canon Films was notorious B-movie filmmakers. All the Chuck Norris missing in action movies and stuff like that. And I remember being about 24 or 25 years old, and the first person I ever had to direct in a voiceover session was Dunn. And,
wow.
And I can just remember the only thing I could say to the guy was, could I have an insurance take? And he just kind of looked at me. It was like the last thing you're supposed to say to Don. But I said it anyways. And basically he gave me the exact same read back. And I went, perfect. So I did that for, I don't know how many years, 10 years maybe. And then after working as a TV writer for the better part of a decade, and that well kind of ran dry, I got back into promo. And I got into promo, I should say, and so I started working for their in network promo. And what's interesting about it is all these years I was listening to auditions, and back in the days of yore, there was a little website we like to call Voice Bank, and Voice Bank to me was like the last shot of Indiana Jones, where you're pulling back on the warehouse when they're putting away the Ark of the Covenant, and they go wider and wider, and there's more boxes and more boxes and more boxes. Mm-hmm. That's what Voice Bank was like to me. Just an endless warehouse of demos. And I didn't really know how to navigate it. So what I would do is I would just randomly click names, and I would find the voice prints that I liked. And so we would contact their respective agents and say, could you have this person send an audition? So, but each agent would piggyback 10 other people on top of that. So instead of listening to 5 auditions, we'd be listening to 55. And what really surprised me was how people just didn't understand how to audition for promo. They didn't understand, how to make things work, how to make reads pop. What's your retail? What are your adjectives? All the things that make a read pop, they were just doing these, what I call bland, generic reads. Okay. Mm-hmm. And then in October of 2014, I was having lunch with the great then Heather Virgo, now Heather Dame, agent extraordinaire at Atlas. And I was telling her all this, and she was like saying, Harry, you've got to coach this. We're desperate for people who can coach promo. So that's how I got into coaching. My POV, all my lessons is from the other side of the audition. Okay, the side that, what we hear, what we listen to, and why people get rejected. And because I think it's really difficult for the voiceover artist to have to do a self-directed audition. You're sitting in a bay, you got no help, you're not really sure what to do with this. So if I can give you a roadmap to how to navigate those waters, then I think I'm helping you. And so that's what my lessons have been about.
Well, with that being said, can anyone do promo, or are there certain genres of voiceover that those people lend better to doing promo?
Well, if you're saying, can anyone do promo? I'm a believer that 90% of a successful voiceover is what the good Lord gave them, and the other 10% is maybe what I can teach them. So can anyone do it? Not if you don't have the 90% to begin with. So if you're saying of the 90% that were born with a great voice, you can learn the craft.
Okay.
Harry, have you dabbled yourself at all in VO?
Oh, God, I have a terrible voice. They make fun of my voice because the way a promo works is you do a scratch voiceover, because they don't want to hire the voiceover until the copy is locked. So while it's going through the approval process up the ranks, it's my voice. And, trust me, I would... there's never going to be a day where I take a job away from a professional voiceover.
Okay, so there's no worry there.
But believe me, I do not coach from a point of view of talent. I coach from a point of view of hiring.
Tell us more.
So let's say somebody's got the 90%, they've got the voice, and they've done some training with you, and they're a pretty solid promo talent. What does it take for someone to nurture and to really cultivate that promo career?
Well, you have to have a really good coastal agent. Your regional agents will never get you into promo. No network, whether it be cable or broadcast, is going to call an agent in Austin, Texas, or in Chicago, or in Denver, Colorado, and say, hey, we need a voiceover. You're going to call Atlas, you're going to call DPN, you're going to call Paradigm in New York in particular. In fact, I would say that better than 50% of our voiceovers here come from Paradigm in New York.
Really?
So it's going to be the big agencies. So the main thing you want to do is you want to get a big agent. The way to get a big agent, if you're not walking in with a ton of big resume of booked jobs, is you just got to have a killer demo. And the trick to having a killer demo in promo is you got to make sure you hire somebody that makes sure that every spot in your demo sounds like it aired on the respective network. It cannot sound manufactured. It cannot sound, if you're doing like a superhero thing in your demo, you got to make sure you have superhero music. You got to have, there's got to be sound design. There's a lot that goes into it. People that just think it's just a music cue and your voiceover, that's a bad demo, and you won't get the agent that you want.
Does all of that hold true for sports demos as well?
I do sports demos, but what I always insist the client do first and foremost is ask their agent if you want it, because that's what you call a specialty demo or a boutique demo.
Yeah.
We'll call it a specialty demo, and if the agent doesn't need it, I don't want to make anybody pay for it. But certainly, if you like to go to the, let's just take Atlas, for example. If you go to their website and go to their VO, there's a couple of people I've done sports demos for, and it appears on their homepage, or on their on the talent page, I should say. So, yeah, sports promo demos is a great, I think they're even more valuable for women than they are for men, because women are really starting to get into sports promos. I'm hearing more and more female voices in sports. So it really gives the agent an idea of what you can do.
Yeah, interesting, because Kevin and I were both at your workshop in New York this past summer, and I was amazed at the female talent in there doing the sports promos. I was knocked out. I thought it was really cool.
Well, there's just a different way to go about it, where a man would go with a macho read, deep down here somewhere, macho read. A woman can use a sultry read and accomplish the exact same thing, where a man can't do sultry, but a woman can't do the macho. So it's really what the trick is for women in sports, and pretty much in network too, is you don't want to compete against the man, because you're not going to win that competition. You just want to outsmart the man in how you approach your audition? What can you do that a man can't? Sultry is a great starting point.
Harry, you're a successful promo voiceover coach, a successful demo producer. When somebody approaches you about producing their promo demo, do you ever have to reject anybody because they're not ready?
Yeah. I just don't want to, I don't really need the money. I don't want to sit there and rip people off. I have a conscience, and I just don't want to be I don't believe in cash grabs. I think that's just bad karma. It comes back to haunt you in other ways, So if they're not ready and they're not going to book off of it, I just think it's a terrible idea just to do it to get a paycheck. It's morally wrong. So if I don't think they're ready, I'll let them know.
Now, would you then in turn offer training to them?
If they're not ready for promo, like they're way off, I always suggest learning commercial first, because there's always going to be more commercials out there than promos. There's an endless supply of commercials, and also you can really get into with your regional agents in commercial. That's where regional agents will get you the most work, is in commercial. So that's what I would do. I would tell somebody that's really raw, just get your sea legs in commercial, and I would recommend Mary Lynn Wisner, who I always recommend to them, because I think she's really just a terrific coach and a terrific person. And then once they've mastered commercial, then come back to me.
Okay. Do you have to be union to do promo work for the networks anyway?
You have to be in the union. Yes, you do. I can't speak for cable. I don't know. But for broadcast, yes, you do have to be in the union. And if you're not in the union, there's something called Taft-Hartley, which basically means you have to file paperwork to have them join the union and say, no, this is the voice we want. There's nobody in the union that we liked better. And it's really just a matter of filing like 2 pieces of paperwork to SAG, and then that's it. So I actually got my friend Tim Page was Taft-Hartley by me. We got him a job over here at the CW. He was one of my guys for a long time, and he joined the union.
Harry, you do a lot of stuff in this genre, the coaching, the demo production, and the actual producing of promos. What is the most challenging part of your job?
Let me think. That's a good question. Well, I don't know if any part of it is really challenging. I guess people that don't respond to the notes, and you have to give the note over and over again. But that happens so rarely. Actually, rather than talking about what the most challenging part is, can I just talk about what the most fun part is?
Sure.
Anyone who's done a lesson with me knows that you have a first read where you'll do it all by yourself with no help from me. And then I'll coach you through 4, 5, or 6 reads, and then we'll listen to your last read. And just the sheer improvement from first to last, that's the fun part. And especially, you referenced that New York City seminar I did last June. Boy, you really hear the difference between first and last reads from people. And then when you see that light bulb go on over their heads, that's just a fantastic feeling. It really is.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then when they get good and then you do their demo and you write it, and it's like, please God, let this work out. I really think these words are the right words. And then all of a sudden you get in that booth, you listen to the booth, and, I've done demos for both of you, and you listen to how your demos came out. You know how fun that was to hear the quality of the work. And that's just like, it's just such a rewarding feeling.
Yeah.
Especially when you trust somebody with something as expensive as a demo, and it comes out great. You're happy, and that makes me happy. And I don't like to disappoint people. Unfortunately, I'm yet to disappoint anybody in the demo world. But then I don't do it that many, so I guess that probably helps a little bit.
Let's flip over to the audition side of things. So you have a job and you farm out to agents, and then they narrow it down, and then you're listening to the auditions yourself. What attracts you about an audition, and also what turns you off about a person's audition? Now, we're talking people who are at the top of their game, obviously, now.
Well, let's start with what the turnoff is, because that's the easiest answer. It's called a generic bland audition. It's where an auditioner, a voiceover talent, just decides to do a safe read, take 0 chances, and show 0 attitude in the read. And it's one of those reads we call an next read. And what I mean by that is listening to it and you're 8 words in, we just go next.
Yep.
Because if you got to go through 100 auditions and someone's boring you 8 words in, there's no point in finishing it. So what excites me is when people take chances, show attitude, even if they're not right. But, talk about an example of an A for effort is we really liked the voice, but we just weren't sure about the read. and this has happened in the past, you get what's called a directed audition, where we hire you, we pay you a session fee, we come in and we direct you in the studio, okay, or over ISDN or over Source Connect if you're from out of state. And so just that would be my biggest advice. If you hear yourself doing a safe, generic, bland read, just start over.
Them's the facts.
Do you accept for people to do like ad libs, or what do they call it, uptalk?
No. You got to understand that you have a 30-second window. You have timed pods. Let's just say you have 1.2 seconds to say that line, 2.4 seconds to say that line. You have to be done in 24 seconds before the title and the tag comes in. You don't have time to improvise. When you improvise, that's an automatic next improvising.
In promo. Sometimes commercial agents will appreciate that, no?
I can't speak on commercial. That's not my world, but I think there's probably a little more leniency in commercials because you don't have dialogue bites to go along with it, and you have a cue and a voiceover, and that's it. So you might have a little bit more leeway. I'm just guessing, not my milieu, not my bailiwick, as they say.
Harry, if somebody was considering doing a promo demo, how ready or what qualifications do they need to have before they'd even reach out to you?
Well, what I'd want them to do is I want them to email me and say what their experience is. If they email me and say, I really want to break into promo, it sounds like a cool thing to do, will you do my demo? I'd say, no, you got to train first, whether it's with me or with my colleagues, just train, because let me say this about demos. This actually brought up something. So when somebody asks the question, am I ready for a demo? You're actually asking the wrong question. Because the point of a demo is to get you a good agent. And you all of a sudden and I can make you sound good. I can certainly give you enough line reads. Some of my competitors, they can make you sound good. That's not really the challenge. The challenge is when you go to a place like Atlas, and Heather knows that we'll ask the question, is this person good because he's good or because you made him sound good? And so what an agent like Heather will do is send you 26 pieces of copy, literally like a stack of copy, and says, you have 3 days, get this back to me. I want to hear what you sound like without Harry Dunn telling you what to do. Okay? So, and then if you fail, then she'll know, all right, well, Harry made you sound good. So the wrong question is, am I ready for a demo? The correct question is, am I ready for what comes next after a demo?
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Yeah.
Right. So just be prepared. You have to really understand the craft. So that's why you never want to start off with a demo. It's just, you just know what you're doing first and then come in. Like you two were working pros, so it was no big deal doing your demos. But someone who's new or raw, and all those people in the New York seminar, any one of them, I would have done a demo for. They're all.
Yeah.
Do you find you're working with the same talent over and over again for promos, or do you get new voices? Yeah,
we very frequently use the same people. It's just, the audition process, is laborious. And if you can sit there and go, oh, let's use Reno here. His voice would be perfect. And they'll go, yeah, that's good. And then that's it, But sometimes let's get a new voice. And in fact, for one of the new shows, they hired a woman. So women are starting to get into VO now.
That's great to hear.
Yes. So that's great. Yeah. So the audition process is laborious because you've got, hundreds of auditions coming in, and then there's a room that narrows it down to half, and then half comes to me, and I narrow it down to like 10, and then I give it to the senior vice president. She says, let's cut those 5 into the spot and put it up against a picture. And, it's a process, but it's worth it if you can find really good talent.
Excellent. Well, Harry, you've shed some great insight today, and we're going to let you go. And if you want to reach out to Harry and find out all about him, just go to dunnpromo.com, DUNN promo.com, and reach out to Harry.
As a parting thought to everybody who's listening, don't give up. Work at your craft. Don't fall in love with your voice. Everybody's got a great voice. Just make sure you know what you're doing. Think about how to make your reads pop. The only way to make your reads pop is if you know what you're doing with every word and every phrase and every sentence. Make that your priority.
Harry, thanks so much for your time. If anybody wants to reach out to Harry, you can go to dunnpromo.com. That's DUNN promo.com for coaching, for demo production. He's there for you. And like he says, you just got to be ready. Thanks so much, Harry.
All right. We'll talk soon. Thank you very much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bobby, always great to talk to Harry Dunn. He is lively, he's energetic, and one of the most passionate guys that I know of doing this craft that we are in and the world of voiceover. So good to talk to him.
Yeah, and if you do coach with Harry, he'll tell you like it is. Tell it like it is.
Yeah, when we did the seminar in New York with him, it was great because he was very candid.
Oh, yeah.
And there was times where Harry would, playfully yell at somebody, but it was done with the right spirit because he wants to get the best out of you.
But you need that. I mean, you need that. You want someone to tell you what's wrong or what you can improve on, not, oh, you sound great.
Yeah, you don't want the mommy and daddy coaching. Mommy and daddy tell you, oh, it sounds great like it is. Oh, baby, that sounds so good. You sound so good every time I hear you talk.
And a trophy for you, too.
Yeah, I know you participated. Let's get you a trophy. No, that's not how it goes with Harry. He wants you to be successful because that makes him successful. So feel free to reach out to Harry because he is one of the best in the business, and we certainly enjoyed having him on the Middle Class VO podcast today. Bobby, great job. As normal, you can find us in a bunch of places, the iTunes, the Spotify, the Facebook, the YouTube, and everything else that the kids are doing these days.
Podbean, you name it, we're on it. Thanks for coming on.
The Middle Class VO podcast is a K2 Media Productions production.
All views and opinions expressed are those of the hosts and guests. The McVob jingle was written and produced by Kevin.
Co-produced and performed by Chloe Dolandis.
Additional engineering by Zach Zimmett.
Bobby's hair and makeup by Rebecca Adlita.
Kevin's wardrobe by Slippery Pete's Fashion Emporium.
All previous episodes are available for download on Podbean.
For the Middle Class VO podcast, I'm Tracy Thibodeau.
I'm Lisa Lou Perry.
Thanks for listening.
And don't miss the next episode of
The Middle Class VO Podcast. The Middle Class VO Podcast.